Welcome back to the 2015 Wyoming School Board Association Shrine Bowl pregame show. I'm AP Harreld. For a look back at the storied history of the Cowboy State's Prep Football Summer All-Star Game, here's the voice of the Kimmer Rangers, Caleb Burgraff.
This afternoon, the best in Wyoming's ranks of high school football take to the field for the 42nd time since 1974. That's right, the annual Shrine Bowl, pitting the best from the north against the best from the south, has a rich and storied tradition. Despite an awkward beginning, a 37-0 domination of Jerry Campbell's Northern squad by John Deddy's Southern, the annual contest has brought out the best in Wyoming's gridiron Civil War, with the North slightly leading the series 20 wins to the South's 18 and 3 ties to boot. Both sides have had their moments of domination, with the South owning the competition in the 70s, going 4-1, the North dominating the 80s with 7 wins, the South returning the favor with 7 of their own in the 90s, and the North again returning to dominant form with 10 wins in the last 15 games. It hasn't been all about the teams though, as the game has brought out the best in individuals each year as well. In fact, even as recently as last year's Shrine Bowl, the all-time records were under assault. Austin Matthews of Douglas placed his name among the top offensive leaders in the game, moving into second in passing yards with 289, passing attempts with 39, and all-time yards with 312. The offensive records weren't safe from anyone either, as a pair of receivers, Nick Bloom of Rock Springs and Chance Miller of Douglas, matched and surpassed the 30-year-old record for catches in the game, jumping Chuck Johnson of Sheridan on the list with 13 and 8 respectively. Bloom wouldn't stop there, topping Johnson's receiving yards record as well by 17 yards, albeit on 5 more catches. Some records have withstood the test of time though, starting with one that might never go down, Kimmerer's Steve Dover, who rushed for an unprecedented 177 yards on only 27 carries in 1975's version of the game. The only man to come close to Dover was Travis Bandemere of Laramie, 13 years later in 1988, who rushed for the same 177 yards, but on 44 carries. And when talking about records for the individuals, one can't go without the mention of Upton's Darren Schiller, who since 1984 has owned the records for most passing attempts with 45, completions with 22, and passing yards at 315, and has only been matched 2 times with his 4 touchdown passes in a game. The Shrine Bowl has truly been a state game over the years, with all but 3 schools, Farson, Rock River, and St. Stephen's, sending players to the game. Both Natrona and Sheridan are the only 2 schools to have been represented in all 41 Shrine Bowls leading up to this year, with Kelly Walsh and Riverton the only other 2 to have seen players in at least 40 of the games. Natrona has sent an unprecedented 151 players to participate in the Shrine Bowl, owning that category by 33 ahead of Gillette's 118. Only 6 schools have sent more than 100 students to the affair, although Rock Springs entered this year's contest with only 2 more needed to join the illustrious club. The history of the Wyoming Shrine Bowl is a long and storied one, and still has much to be written. As the years go by, more records will be set and more will fall. The only question that remains is how and when it will happen, and will you be watching when they do? For Cook Brothers Broadcasting's coverage of the 2015 Wyoming Shrine Bowl, I'm Caleb Burgraff.
From Evanston to Newcastle and all points in between, this is the 2015 Wyoming Shrine Bowl.